Hey, Exotical family. So, I just wanted to talk to you guys about some things that, there's a lot of misunderstandings about our community, and especially if you're lighter skin exotical, a lot of people assume that when it comes to our self love, that we love our skin tone, that we love our phenotype, that automatically means we're colorist, or that we automatically say we don't or dislike unambiguous, and all of this stuff. And none of that is true. None of it is true at all. Just because we love ourselves doesn't mean we hate unambiguous people. But that seems to be the narrative that a lot of people want to paint for us. That's the image that they want us to have for some reason. And it doesn't make any sense, because other groups of people can self-love on themselves all day long, and they're not called all kinds of names and stuff like that, and anti-black and all of this stuff. But for the lighter skinned exoticals, we seem to get a lot of flack for that. It's been a taboo for so long, for way too long, that lighter skinned people aren't allowed to be proud to love themselves. I was just watching a video from Exotical Epiphany about, I think her name is Shaka Khan. I didn't know too much about her, but hearing her story is like, wow. How she grew up with how people hated on her skin complexion because she was lighter skinned, and being mistreated because of that. Her story is very touching, let me just tell you that. But a lot of people think that being lighter skinned means we're better, and that's not true. I mean, unless you have a lot of self-love, but that's not what we're talking about here. People think that we think we're better than them, and that's the problem. We're allowed to have self-love, but people always think that means we think we're better than them, and that's not what we're saying at all. So people get mad at us for creating this space, but this is why we created this space, because we do not have we don't have a voice outside of this space. We don't have a real voice. We're told all kinds of who do you think you are and all of this type of stuff outside of us. But when we create our own space, we can all relate to the same experiences and what we go through. And how people pedestalize our skin complexion, they're projecting onto us about how they feel. They don't really know what it's actually like to be on the lighter end of the spectrum in the Black community. You do feel lonely, you do feel ostracized. And I remember Eartha Kitt saying something in one of the interviews I was watching on Exotical Epiphany's video, and she was saying, because I think the interviewer asked her about the phrase high yellow, and she was saying how being called high yellow probably is worse than being called a nigga, because not only are you being disowned by the white people, but you're also being disowned by your own people.
We don't hear the phrase yella, yella with a southern accent, yeller, high yella anymore. To people, even people who are Black who've never heard it, what does that mean?
You're not accepted. When they call you a yellow gal, it's like calling you a nigger. Maybe even worse than that, because a yellow gal means that you are not here and you're not there. You don't belong to either side. You are rejected. You're in between the cracks.
Because your skin complexion is lighter than, so I thought that was an interesting point. People think that being lighter skin means we haven't made our life is so much easier, but that's just a projection. That's just a projection, for real. We can love our skin complexion because that's what we're supposed to love, our skin complexion, because that's the skin complexion we were born with. No more than how, if you're a darker skin, you're supposed to love your skin complexion. Anytime I see a dark skinned person loving on themselves, calling them dark chocolate and, all of this stuff, I don't think you think you're better than me by saying that you love yourself. But that's what people do to us, though. And yes, I know there are some actual people who are lighter skinned who are actually colorists, but they have deeper issues. Let's just be honest about that. They have stuff that they have going on that they feel the need to use what people already see as a superpower in their eyes against those people who probably hurt them. You know how hurt people. It's one of those things you kind of have to, you know. So it's just like it's just one of those things. Hurt people, and those colorist people are honestly just using their skin complexion because they know it's one of their strengths, and they know they can use it against people because people pedestalize it so much. So if people stop pedestalizing light skin, you know what I mean? So, but what can we do about the pedestalization of lighter skinned people? What can we actually do about it? We all know where it originally comes from, you know, the slavery days separating us from house and the field, and having the white man putting us against each other, and it just over the generations just kept going. We all know where it actually comes from, but we can't seem to get out of it, you know, to the point where Exoticals, we have to create our own space because we didn't feel safe with our own people. Ain't that crazy? We didn't feel safe enough being in those spaces. Like, me being a light-skinned savior in the past, all it's done is have people turn against me and be like, oh, you don't even know what the struggle is. You're not dark. And it's funny how I'm not that light-skinned, but then when it comes to me standing up for darker-skinned issues in the past, I wasn't dark enough. So it's just, when we say black were convenient, it's serious. It's a real thing. People throw you in and out of the black community when you're on the lighter end of the spectrum, when they feel like it. Like if Kamala Harris would have won, she would have been the first black female president. But with all the other stuff going on in the past with her, she wasn't even black enough. So it's just convenient to be black for lighter skinned people only if we're benefiting the community. But even when I was benefiting or trying to help benefit the community, I was still rejected in a sense. You know, and I know a lot of it is just internalized feelings towards lighter skin. Because like I told you guys in the past, anytime I go to a receptionist's desk, anytime I go to a customer service space and there's an unambiguous woman at the desk, I'm going to get attitude from her off jump. Usually, especially if they're from the hood. I haven't really had too many issues if they weren't from the hood, and you guys know what I mean by that. You guys can tell the difference between a suburban black girl and a hood black girl, and I'm telling you guys, I don't usually get the same energy from a more cultured, darker skinned, unambiguous girl. I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but usually I get those type of feelings from hood chicks. And that's just been my experience. And I think it's a culture thing too. It has to be, but I don't know. I just know my experience. So even I've always got that rejected feeling from them throughout my life. I've either been used by them. I had to take my boyfriend from me, pretending to be my friend, but they was really behind my back sleeping with my boyfriend and all kinds of crazy nonsense. Humbling tactics galore. You know what I'm saying? I just can't even believe on my own page I'm still deleting comments and blocking people from saying things about, like for example, that the featureism video that I made a couple of weeks ago. Mind you, this is an Exoticals community, so of course I'm going to show Exoticals throughout my examples, and people were still coming in the video talking about how are you going to talk about this with all mixed looking women in the video, because this is an Exoticals community. I thought I made that clear in the thumbnail as well, that this is an Exoticals community. I'm talking about featureism, but through the perspective of an Exotical. So, you know, I've tried to promote the unambiguous spaces, but it was the love wasn't returned in the same way as it is over here in the Exotical space. We show each other love. We celebrate each other. I'm a girl's girl for real. So, but it just feels good to have other girls being girls with you, and it just feels like a real community over here. So I finally found my safe space, and I'm happy. And I don't want people thinking that I think I'm better than because I am a part of an Exoticals community. I'm a part of a community that I feel safe in, that I feel wanted in, loved in, cared about, seen, heard, all of that stuff. I don't have to feel like an oddball. I don't have to feel like I put the light skinned sheep of the family, all of that stuff. Like, I don't have to feel like the black sheep of the family. I feel wanted and accepted here, okay? And so, us having this space doesn't mean we think we're better, any of that. So I just want that to be very, very clear. People should understand that by now, just watching our videos and understanding that we're just talking about our experiences. And that's all we've been doing. We're not hurting anybody over here. We're talking about the things that we've been through so people can see it from our perspective, because for so long we haven't been allowed to without backlash. So just let us do us. If you guys want to watch to learn, that's one thing, but please don't come over here and just start talking about, oh, why is it only about mixed women? Over here it's just about our experiences. That's the only perspective I can talk about, from a monoracial exotical experience. Somebody who's has two black parents but came out looking like I'm mixed with something, even, down the line I'm mixed with something, but it's not immediate down the line. It's a little further down the line, but my genes just make me look exotified, and it makes me stand out within my black community because I'm from America, so I look different than the black people around me. A lot of the times I stick out like a sore thumb, so hence me being exotical and having the experience, which is why I can relate to mixed race women's experiences more than I can relate to the unambiguous experience. So that doesn't make me better than anybody. I'm just being real about that. It's just been my experience. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to say on this one. Just wanted to clear that up, just because we love being light-skinned and we love ourselves, which is what we're supposed to do. Doesn't mean we think we're better than unambiguous people. So that's all I really wanted to say on this one. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you for listening.